What is happening, everybody? This music got really quiet. I meant to turn it down, but now I can't hear anything. Maybe that song's just over. Let's see what happens. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to the HypeHype stream. It is Thursdays, 5 p.m. here in Helsinki. And this week, we're going to spend some time in the editor. We're going to build some stuff, answer some questions if you all have them, and generally just hang out and have a good time enjoying the fact that we can make games on our mobile devices, telephones, tablets. I will today be working on my iPad Pro. I guess this is a 10-inch, a 12-inch. I don't know. Who do we got in the chat? I see Brush, Sticky, Alcox, Hamu. What is up? Hope you guys are having a great Thursday. Mine is not going too bad. Awesome. Tons of questions. Well, that's what we're here for. Before we jump right into it, I am just going to give a quick reminder that we are now in week 2 of the Color Jam. You have until next Thursday, July 1st. Right now, at the start of the stream, is when the official deadline for the Color Jam ends. So, you got a week to go on your Color Jam hypes. Can't wait to play them next week. Next week, we'll be doing a play stream. We'll play the Color Jam hypes. We'll also be checking out some other cool new stuff in the world of HypeHype. But this week, as I mentioned, we're going to be all about the editor. So if you have some of those editor questions, now would be a great time to drop one into the chat so that we can get started talking about the goods, how to make games, how to make hypes. Of course, you don't have to make just games. You can make memes. And to demonstrate that, we have this nice little nugget here. Is there music to this? I feel like there's supposed to be some sound or music going on here. Oh, why is that? Let me check here. Why is it playing through my speakers and not my headphones? It should be playing through the headphones here. Weird. All right, I'm going to take a quick break and see if we can fix this real quick. So I'm just going to put on the Be Right Back screen here for a moment. I'm going to quit this. Oh, wait. Now it's playing the sound in my earphones. Awesome. Awesome. don't have to restart some stuff. Let's go back to the view here so we can look at this. Anyway, so this is a meme created by Aaron. I think you probably all recognize this meme, but I think what Aaron would really like to see is to see some people take this little meme and make it interactive somehow. Make it into a little game. It says in the thumbnail, it says, remix this. So Aaron would like to see your remixes of the This Is Fine Fire meme. That's not an official competition. It's just a friendly challenge from Aaron to all of you. All right, let's see what we're going on here. Al sent me a question on Discord. All right. All right. Wow. All right. We got a whole bunch of questions here and some example hypes to check out. Well, you have one easy question here. Number 5, how to delete a draft. Currently, you cannot. You cannot delete drafts at the moment. It is something that is kind of annoying to a lot of people. There is some technical reason behind that, but I am not the one to technically minded to explain it. All right. No worries. I mean, we knocked one out already, so let's open up the example hype here. Let's see if I can open it from this Discord. I think these links don't like to open from the Discord, so I'm gonna copy it. Let's see if that's fixed. No, see, it wants to open in the browser. So but we copy that. We can just throw it in the notepad here. Make a new notepad. Paste it. Yes. Now we can open it up. All right. So we've got. Let's. Did I kill that other music? It is killed. Okay. Good. Alright, so let's jump into the editor here. We're going to edit this. Alright, so question 1 was how to add an endgame after matching all the animals. Whoa, okay, so we got some spaghetti going on here. No problemo. Okay. Let's see if I can figure out what you got going on in here. Why can I not select this guy? Let's see. You got a dragon hover. You got a collision trigger. Okay, so essentially, if I understand your logic correctly, you put 2 together that match, they pop, and then you're adding some score somewhere. Okay. So one of the questions, I'm going to skip around here in your questions a little bit. So your question 3, is it possible to have more matching objects than trigger groups in the color groups? So the way that you have it set up, I would say no, there's not. But we could probably come up with another system that's not too complicated that would allow you to do that, where instead of using the color groups, you would say each animal has a number value. The trigger logic would get a little more complicated as well, because you'd have to control when it does checks. It couldn't be on collision, because without the collision group colors, basically any collision would be checking a value. And since your animals are all in a pile here, That might mean a little overload of checks, but maybe not. Maybe not. Um, okay, so question one. I think question one is probably going to be the last one we're going to come to once we figure out. So question one is how to add an end game after matching all the animals. Should be pretty straightforward, but I think we need to solve the other questions first before we solve that one. And then spawning confetti out of each animal, that should be pretty easy. We can do that in a moment. And then four, an example of the tile mapping or the painting. We can definitely take a look at the tile map objects as well. But since that one's a little separate, we'll go through questions 1, 2, and 3 here first. All right. So the most complicated one's going to be question 3, how to have more pairs than we have object groups. So for everybody watching, oh, excuse me. I just slammed a cola right before we started. I got a little bit of that, the carbonation coming up. My bad. All right. So what we have set up here is basically we're matching color, or we're matching animals. And the way that Al has set this up is that each animal is in its own color group. And when it hits another animal of the same color group, boom, successful match. It does some stuff here. I guess it's adding a value to A there. So that looks right. Destroyer. Okay, you're doing a destroyer like that. All right. All right. That's cool. Sound. Displaying the sound. All right. All right. So, let me think for a second about how I would go about setting this up. Because I think what we're going to do is something a little similar to what I did 2 weeks ago for anybody that was here, where we were doing the color check. Where basically we had the guy could collect gems. This is a hype that I've put out now. You can go play it if you want. Guy can collect gems that give him different, basically, color powers. And then with those different color powers, he can walk through traps, right? So we were doing checks like what color is the guy, what color is the trap that he's touching right now, and then that determines whether or not the guy gets hurt by touching the trap, so whether or not he's the right color. So I think we're probably going to do something similar to that, and then in that case we're going to have each each animal is going to have a number value. I'm just the part that is tripping me up. Yeah, it would be nice if you could do a lot of different animals. You definitely don't want to be limited to just whatever 12 or however many object groups we have in there. But the thing that's kind of tripping me up right now is to how to do the check, because basically if we give each animal has a number value, and we say when that animal hits another animal, it sends the number value to a compare to check whether the animal that it hit is the same number value or not. But we can't just let that happen all the time, or we're going to get a ton of false positives. Because like the rhino could hit the cow, but at the same time, the zebra could hit the cow, and then all of a sudden we have a positive match for 2 cows, even though the cows never hit each other. Another option could be to use broadcasters. There's got to be a good solution to this. I'm just not sure if I'm going to be able to think of it on the spot. So we're going to stick a pin in that one for a minute. because that's going to take some nice logical thinking. But your color triggers here definitely are a great start because you got that. It's working already. So we can definitely solve your other two problems. So I'm just going to take a quick look at what's exactly happening in here. So these are setting compare A as 1. Because basically, the way you have this set up now, like, basically, we made that pair, but then both of those pairs sent a value to this compare. So we can either continue to allow them to do that and just double the value that we're looking for in here, or we can try and think of a way where we can only send one value when these are touched. But again, I think to answer the question, we don't necessarily need to solve that problem. There is one little thing we need to change here, which is that each of these collision triggers, instead of set, we should set this to add so that we're increasing. So we'll go in here, and this one as well, we're going to set this to add. All right. So now when we make a successful pair of rhinos here, the value in our compare should go up to 2. Value A should become 2. Let's take a look in the debug, see if that happens, and it does. Perfect. So we would need to fix that in all of these other ones. I assume have the same logic. So all of these need to go to, oh, this is, what is this one doing? This guy doesn't have the compare. Okay, so you haven't set that compare up for all the animals yet, which is fine. Cool. But do any of them have it? Well, I mean, we can already demonstrate actually what goes on here. So you just need to figure out what the final number is going to be. In this case, we can make one pair, so we can make it 2. And then equal, you have your game end already set up here. Show end screen success, 1 second. Enable slowdown, that's all gravy. So that should work already when we match the rhinos. There we go, we get the end screen. So you had that set up right already. I think your problem here was that this was setting the value instead of increasing the value. So basically it was always just changing this value A to 1 instead of making it go higher. So yeah, if you set that up in the rest of the animals, figure out what your total value is going to be, and then that's all good to go. And then the last one was you want a little confetti blast from these guys. So we can go ahead and just throw a particle effect right into the animal here. We're going to make it the confetti blast. It's not going to be executing on start, and then we'll boom. And then one other thing here that I see that that might cause you some problems is doing this on collision end. Most likely the animals are going to hit together and then they're going to separate. But in the off chance you got the two animals kind of fall together and then they're just kind of resting against each other, obviously you would just have to pick one up and then that would remove the connection. But it would be a little wonky for the player. So I think you probably could just go ahead and let this happen right away. Whoops. Oh, that was going up here to this destroy. This is an interesting way to use the destroy. I've not used it this way before. I guess you're setting as target and then also executing at the same time. Yeah. Is that what you were doing? Or is this thing... Yeah. Yeah, you're sending the... Set as target, yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, it's all good. It's all good. I think you do have a very good idea of what you're doing because most of this was already working. You just had a few little bumps to get over, and it happens to everybody. So anyway, so where were we? We can put one in this guy too. I would say if you put them in, you might want to just put them in one of the animals. You know, if you put them in both, it might be a little overload of confetti blast. On collision start, particle effect, execute on. Oh, I know why I did that wrong. All right, so this is going to go on collision start, target. That's what I did wrong in this one. On collision start, target. Okay. Because I had actually just set that as the target. I hope that doesn't break anything. Let's find out. So we should get this. They drop. Boom. And then, well, we immediately get the success. Let's get rid of that. We'll put this back to 4 just so that it doesn't trigger right away. We can see the results of this better. Boom. Now, the one thing that you do get there is... because the object gets destroyed right away, that also destroys the particle emitter. So you see you only get a few particles there. What you could do to get rid of that is we can go in here. I don't know which confetti blast I'm using. I guess it was the first one. We can go and change this. So the emission rate's going to be 0. We're just going to jack up this value. 16, that's good. And what this is going to do is it's going to shoot out all the particles on that very first frame. So we get to see them all. So emission value, when the emission value is 0, it's basically shooting out all of the particles immediately, right away. The emission rate is basically how long the particles emit for. So when your emission rate is 0, they're just one shot, and then the particle amount is how many particles whoops, wrong button, how many particles are actually being emitted. So that's why I'm jacking that number up a little bit. So now you see we get it's a little more clumpy, but we get a nice blast of confetti there right away, and then that should translate automatically. When we do this, we get a better confetti blast. And it is doing the confetti is set up to shoot the direction, so the confetti is kind of blasting depending on the rotation of the animal. But that's that. All right, so let me review these questions again. So we did question 1. We did question 2. Question 3, I think... I need to think on that one, but I'm going to get back to you because I'm not going to be able to not think about it until I have some sort of solution. All right, so you wanted to see the tile mapping. All right, so the way the tile maps work is that there are some objects that are set up so that they are basically paintable. So if we go here, we can look up tile maps. Now, the problem with looking this up with tile maps is there are a handful of objects that are called tile maps that actually don't behave like the tile maps. They're just standalone objects, like this side scroller tile map pack. That doesn't, you can't paint that one. But most of these are paintable. And some of them will be paintable in different directions. I think a good example here is going to be the wall tile set, we can bring this one in. So the wall is obviously, it's a wall. So we bring in the tile set here. We can see there when we select it, we're selecting one individual box of the tile set, but it actually is made up of all these different boxes. If we want to paint it, we just go up here, we go to the quick menu, and then we hit this paint button, and then we can paint here. You can see this grid comes up. It kind of shows us the grid that we're painting on. Down here at the bottom, we have a few extra controls. We can go to movement controls so that we can move around. We can, of course, erase as well. And then different tile sets will paint different ways. So that's the wall tile set. Obviously, that one paints up and down on the y-axis. If we go back in here and if we take this, it's still called wall tile set simple platform. They have the same name. That's not great. But you can tell from the picture that one is a wall and one is actually floor. So we have this floor one now. We hit paint on this one. Same deal, but now we're painting on the X and the Z axis instead of, well, I guess that was the X and the Y axis on the wall. And then there are still a few other types. You can go in here. Some of these are tall. So we have these tall tile sets. These ones are cool to make more complicated terrain. Really nice. But when you're working with them, one thing to note is that when you paint, you're actually painting from the bottom of the wall. You can see where the square kind of connects here. That's where we need to paint in order to continue that wall. If we touch kind of up here where it looks like the top of the wall is, we're actually, you can see there, we're painting a little bit further back. So that's one thing to keep in mind with these kind of tall tile sets. There are also, as you mentioned, there's a couple different fence tile sets actually. And these ones work a little bit differently because they're not, you can't just paint like solid object here. Like if we just kind of, I mean, you can, but if you go crazy there, it kind of flips out because it doesn't want to just fill up the space with fence. It wants to create an outline. So you can kind of go along the edges, but there are some limitations to exactly how some of the tile sets will draw. Similarly with tile sets like, where's another good example on this one? This tile set has these edges. Let's change the colors here so we can see. Okay, I think it's just those two colors. So this one has these edges. So you can see here when I select, this kind of looks like it's only two squares, one square, two square. But then we have this outside border, and that's actually been painted as well. So if we paint up here, it doesn't do anything because that border, that square is actually already painted in. It's creating that round edge. So we got to go up here, and then you can see it starts to expand the shape. But it always wants to do this border on the outside edge. So you have to kind of go one further than you think you have to go in order to get the shape that you want. And of course, sometimes getting the exact shape you want can be a little difficult with this particular tile set because of that outside border. And I think there might be one or two other ones that are kind of bordered like that. Yeah, so to start painting, you select the object, and then up here in the quick menu, you just tap on that paint icon. Is there any other kind of weird tile sets we can look at here? Not really, just different shapes. I guess we do have these rounded hills. They're a little different because they're rounded. They have a similar thing like the border of that other piece there. You can see it does some blocky shapes, but then if you put another layer, then it kind of rounds it out. All right, now I know I missed somebody else's question while I was going through all of those questions from Al. So I'm going to scroll back up here in the chat. Okay, this is a little outside of the actual app, but you want to stream some HypeHype. How do we go about recording and streaming HypeHype? So when I want to record, I just screen record off of the iPad. If I'm doing something for YouTube, you know, I can drag down here, hit that record button. It's not going to do it because I'm already screen sharing. But does it even show you guys that menu? Yeah, it does. Okay. So that's how I record. But streaming, so what we're doing right now, I give you a little insight into my setup here. So I have my tablet here. It's an iPad. You can see there. It's got the same screen that you're looking at. So I'm screen mirroring this to my PC. I'm streaming from a PC right now. So I'm screen mirroring this to my PC with a program called Reflector. But there are other ones out there available for that. And then I'm just using good old Streamlabs OBS, standard free streaming software. Pretty great streaming software, to be honest, considering that you can use it completely free. I'm not paid by Streamlabs, but I've been using their software for a while and I like it, so they get a thumbs up from me. And then I'm just doing a screen capture of the. You can see there's my mouse there. This is just a screen capture of my desktop, cropped down to just show the capture. You can kind of see here if I go landscape, you can see there my wallpaper for a moment as it updates the feed. So you want to stream directly from your iPad. Streamlabs does make a mobile app, but if I'm not mistaken, you have to pay for their subscription service in order to use it for screen capturing. Otherwise, it will just stream from your camera. But I'm not 100% on that, so you could look into it and see if that's an option. The Streamlabs mobile software itself is definitely free, so it wouldn't hurt you to give it a download and try it out, see what it can do. But Reflector is a paid program, but it wasn't super expensive. I don't remember exactly how much we paid for it. But I believe there are also free options available. Yeah, Reflectors is a Windows software. I'm using a Windows lap PC right now. All right, Gaming with Soul wants me to check out the draft, so we're going to do that in just a second here. And then I see another question here. Can I download the game living in a country that is not the Philippines? Is the only country we are officially available in right now is the Philippines. However, if you want to play HypeHype right now and you don't live in the Philippines, I have good news for you, my friend. That is 100% possible. Head on over to HypeHype.com and you can apply for early access, and you will get it. It will take 1 to 2 days for you to actually get access to HypeHype and the early access program. But pretty much everybody who applies through the website gets in, so there's no reason to think that you wouldn't. So yes, you can play. All right. If you want to use my overlay that I'm using here, I would be happy to share it with you. It's a Photoshop file. I can give you that file if you want it. It's not really kind of just like a template or anything, but I'd be happy to share it if you want to have some more kind of official looking template. Awesome. All right, so now to Gaming with Souls question. When the player run, the tiles change color. When the player is different color and he runs on a different color tile, I want a negative value sent. All right, let's get out of here. Confirm. Let's go find Game Seekers. Let's jump in the drafts here. So it's this first one. That's what we're talking about. All right. So let's see what we got here. So we turn red, and then we can paint the tiles red. Cool. We turn yellow. We can paint the tiles yellow. And I guess this is also affecting the speed of my guy. It seemed like when I took the yellow there, I got faster. Yeah, alright. Cool. Alright, so let's see how this is working. Hello, Catherine. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. All right. Let's see if how are we working here? All right, so what do you mean by when the player runs, the tiles change color. When the player is different color and he runs on a different color tile, I want a negative value sent. So where do you want the negative value to send from? First, let's see. We got, wow. So we got a big group of these blocks here. They have physical. They have collision trigger. And I guess collision trigger is orange. That's the guy is orange. Okay. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. So where do you, these on signal received, sending to compare. So, okay, so is this variable, this is the color of your guy? I'm trying to just figure out what's going on here. These balls. Oh, the balls have nothing. So I guess oh, how are you doing that? Now I'm confused. Oh, you have some color. Okay, you have like a. Where's that color container? There it is. All right, let's see what we got going on in these. So in the color container, we have. We have a little bit of action there. The color has an input value, which I assume is determines the color, correct? So, and then we have collision trigger. It's executing the variable. which goes to all of these, and then changes the color of the ball. I'm a little confused to how this is working, to be honest. So, guy walks on tile, guy colors tiles. Guy hits the ball. And then what's in the block logic here? So in the block logic, we have an interval set up there. This is the stuff we kind of already looked at. It's executing the value inspector. So the value inspector is looking at what color the block is. And then when the block gets stepped on, it executes this interval, which changes the color after 2.5 seconds. Changes it to white. Oh, this is not enabled. Okay, that's not doing anything right now. I was like, none of these were changing back to white. So the guy hits the ball, it sends a value through this broadcaster that then goes to the player and changes his color. And is that in player controls here? Here's that. Okay. So this sends the value. Okay. This sends the value to this logic, which then checks what color it is and then changes the color of the guy. And then also sends that value to this variable, which keeps track of what color the guy is. And then so this is color value broadcaster. Where's that one going? Is that one going back to, it's not in the block here. Where's the block color changing logic? I'm going to put on some tunes here since we're getting into some more thoughtful section of the stream where we look at stuff and try and figure out how to make it work. Yeah. What's actually changing the color of the tile, though, and are you keeping track of that value anywhere? You have this value inspector here, I guess. Okay, so that last broadcaster I was looking at isn't doing anything yet. This homie right here. Doesn't seem like it. Okay, so essentially what I think needs to happen here, I'm not 100% sure. But you essentially you want to have this same check that you have here for each block, so that when you step on the block, you can do a check: is the color of the guy the same color as the block? And then and then you can do a yes/no to determine whether or not he takes damage, or whatever you want to happen there. Then you can make that happen. So I guess I'm still not getting how the block is getting its color. Is I think what I'm stuck on here. And why is this looking at material slot B? Ah, so this material slot B is in the player. Okay, okay. That's a little wonky. Is that actually in this container? It is. Okay. Alright, so material slot B is the player of the color, or is the color of the player. And then it outputs that value to the cube. Okay, okay. So I guess... Oh, but those aren't... I wonder if those have... Those colors must have a numerical value. Let's just check here, see what happens. Let's play this. What does this look like? It just says white. All right. Well, that still just says white. Because it's inside of... Yeah, it's not going to work like that. I'm surprised this is actually working this way. Because generally speaking, like when you... It's because this is not from a container, this character. But having stuff in a container, looking at stuff that's outside of a container can sometimes get a little wonky. Yeah, you would basically need a way, where only the tile that is being touched would be taking that number. But I'm trying to think here if we can do this with the way you have it set up. Because if we take this, and I just wanted to see if that color has a numerical value, because it might. Hidden in there might be a value. So if we look at this guy, who is not in the container yet, while we play... Oh, but the variable's not gonna... Ah, but there, we do see. So... White was 5, yellow is 1, red is 4, blue is 2, green is 0. There we go. Alright, so then what we can do is we can take another one of these. This one, though, is going to be looking at the cube visual. And here we want material slot A. And then we can send that to a compare. So that value output goes to A. This value output goes to B. And then we have, are they equal? Are they not equal? So then this guy should be able to perform what you want to happen. Let's just say, so we can see if it works. Let's say that this, if true, if they are equal, let's say visual activation, visible off. We're just going to make the cube disappear because I just want to see if it's working. And then this guy would need to go into the container there. This one I think should already be in the container. Yes. And then the collision trigger needs to execute this value inspector as well. Or no, not, that's not the value inspector. Collision trigger, delete. This value inspector, execute. And then we only want one of these to actually execute that compare. So we're going to not also execute there. We're going to only also execute with this one because it is being triggered second. We don't need this variable anymore. And already it's for some reason white, and I think the guy's not white. He's like gray or something maybe. Or no, they are equal. They are equal. He is white, and so white on white is a fail. So I think maybe to simplify, you could make another white or change this guy's starting color to, let's just make him gray, just for the sake of argument. Oh no, but it's still giving us a positive. I changed that to equal, didn't I? It's equal, yes. If true, invisible. What if we, I'm just gonna manually change a value there and see if it makes any difference. No, it doesn't. So why is it sending a positive when they are not the same? And if we go red here, it's still sending a positive when it should be painting the colors. We put this guy back to white. Because I guess really what we want, we don't want this to be on true anyway. We wanted something to happen if it's false. So I'm just going to switch that. And then that works. Yes. And we start painting the red. But here, yeah, even that's going to cause problems because, you know, when he touches the white, you need to check basically, if the tile is white and he touches it, then you want the tile to turn color. If the tile already has a color and he touches it, then you want him to take damage or whatever if he touches it. So the logic needs to be a little more complicated than that, but I don't even have this simple version working at the moment. I think the compare is not going to debug because it's inside the container now. That's one problem with the debug, is because basically if I select this one, it's giving me the compare of the parent instance, you know, whereas I would need to be looking at the compare of like kind of each individual cube as it gets touched. Yeah, exactly. So forget what we saw here. White was... Oh, that's right. I had to send that to a variable in order to see it. Go up to green first since it's fast. Alright, so it was... Whoa! Whoops. Was I? So over here was debugging this guy. So yes, white is 5. So you kind of need first you need to check whether or not white is 5. So we have this compare is checking the material slot of or this value inspector, sorry. Value inspector is checking that. It's going to send its value to here. Value A. And then value B is going to be 5. So if 5 true, nothing should happen. If 5 false, we pass that to, was that value A or value B? This one's going to value B. So this one needs to go to value A. And we're going to use the input value. Yes, compare A. Alright, so that kind of solves that problem. This one's not executing. This one is. This connection we can get rid of. This we don't want. That might have been what was actually causing problems for us there. Let's see if maybe this is gonna work now. So we're painting properly. We got red now. Now, if we touch the yellow, we're painting it red. But we don't want that to happen. We instead... so we also need to in here, this collision trigger. This we want to. Why can't I? What if I'll go here? I'll go there. I want to not execute. I think actually we want to get rid of this, and it goes to here. So if true, if both, oh, but wait, no. If false, we send the value to that compare. We also, if false, visual material slot A, pass input value. Right? And now this one is not doing anything. Yes. Let's see. Okay, we got yellow. Now we're not painting anymore. I broke it. Okay, let's get rid of that guy because he's confusing me. Let's go. I'm just going to organize this a little bit here, so it's a little cleaner to look at. Make sure all these are connected the right way. What am I at here? 5. 5. 5. Okay. This one too. 5. All right. Now I can line all these up. So we have 2 compares. We have 2 value inspectors. First value inspector is looking at the guy's color, sending it to value B on this one. This one is checking. Yeah. Oh, that's no. This material slot A. Use an execute node or a toggle node, and when the collision first happens, the toggle changes the color and disables the color change, and a number is set based on the color. Yeah, I mean, that's essentially, I think, what I'm trying to set up here. I think I've just, because I kind of put this together weirdly, I think something's just not connected right. So this is the first one. All right. So this is checking the color of the cube. It's sending it to the first one. So on collision start, is the cube white? It doesn't matter if the guy is white or not. We want to know if the cube is white. If the cube is not white, then we should be getting a negative reaction here. If the cube is white, then we should be executing this guy. right? Yes. So, if the cube is white, then we're executing this guy to see what the color is. Wait a minute. If it's not white, it executes the second compare. We don't want that. No, yes, we do. It's because it's passing the value. But I think we want this one now to be the not execute, and this one will be the execute. And then this one is also, we don't want to change the color right away. That's the problem there. Then we want to check this compare, and if this is checking the color of the cube against the color of the guy. Oh, I think we need another compare in here, maybe. I'm really confusing myself with this one. But I think so. The first check we need to happen is we need to check if the cube is white. So we're doing that. Is the cube white? Yes or no? If the cube is white, then we want to be able to change the color of the cube. If the cube is not white, then we want to check whether the guy and the cube are the same color. So I think we need another, well, so is the cube white? Yes, the cube is white. What color is the guy? Maybe it's another value inspector that we need that's just doing a different function. Let's try that. We need another value inspector that's checking. No, it does. Oh god, I've confused the crap out of myself now. Alright. Is the cube white? Yes, the cube is white. What color is the guy? No, the cube is not white. Also needs to know what color is the guy. So that also is executing this. They both need to know what color the guy is. But if it's true, then we just want to set the color of the cube. If it's false, we want to compare against the color of the guy. Yes, I was right. We need two of these value inspectors. Okay. So this first one is not going to send to the compare. It's just going to change the color of the cube. Right? So output if true, output if true changes the color of the cube to the color of the guy. Output if false checks the color of the guy against the color of the cube. Value A, value B, and now this one, we're going to turn that off. Okay, have I set this up right? Okay, so we're getting yellow. Good. We're getting green. Good. Now what happens? Oh, the green is still recoloring the yellow. What did I do wrong? That might work. Let's see. There's still something wonky going on in here. But, so... So we're going to do, instead of... Which one now? This is the one that's changing the color. Yes, alright. So now instead of the true doing anything, we're just going to say on first collision start, we execute that guy. Then we don't need this anymore. We no longer need to check if the box is white. Or do we? Wow. Does that even work? Let's see. Yeah, actually, I don't... This does seem to be working, but... Uh-oh. What's that sound? Well, you know what, bud? I think my alarm clock is going off. So I think I'm going to have to cut this one short. But I'll keep looking at this and see if I can figure this out along with Al's how to do many animal matches issue. So I'll take a look at both of these offline and see if I can come up with some answers for you. But I think here is where I'm going to have to end the stream today. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming and hanging out. Thank you for your questions. Sorry I couldn't answer all of them fully, but I will endeavor to continue to do that. What's up, buddy? You want to come here and say hi to everybody before I turn it off, dude? Oh, this boy looks a little tired. It's still like an hour and a half till bedtime, though, so hopefully he stays up. But yes, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Al. Thank you, Gaming with Soul. Good questions. Give me something to talk about for an hour and 15 minutes. I highly appreciate it. I will be back here next Thursday. We will have the Color Jam theme, or the Color Jam stream. So you have till next Thursday to submit entries for the Color Jam. After we play through all the Color Jam entries, we will also be checking out some other new non-jam related hypes in HypeHype. So if you got anything new that is not made for a jam and you want me to check it out next Thursday, do let me know, and I'll give it a go on next week's streams. Oh, why did that kill my chat? Well, oh, it's this. Because the chat box is underneath the chat frame. There we go. Let me fix that. Boom. A little layering issue there in the OBS. Anyway, thanks again, everybody. Until next Thursday, you can catch me on the Discord. You can see me in the editor chat in HypeHype. And all that good stuff. You can find me around other places as well. I hope you guys have a great Thursday, a great Friday and weekend. and I will see you around. Peaces.